families watched as more than 5,000 sailors deployed from Naval Base Coronado. They're aboard USS Carl Vinson, heading to the Western Pacific. 10 News reporter Amanda Brandeis joins us live from the base. And Amanda, you were there as families waved goodbye.
Yeah, it was a really bittersweet morning for these families. On the one hand, they're so proud of their loved ones who are serving our country. But on the other hand, it's tough knowing they won't see each other for months.
Look, she's waving, look, she's waving, she's waving, she's waving, look.
As they try to spot their loved ones from a distance.
Mommy's whole department is right there.
Family members hold each other a little closer.
You're happy that they're gonna go do something good, but then you're sad that they're leaving you.
The emotions are mixed. From parents bursting with pride for their children serving our country.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm excited for her.
To the husbands and wives getting ready to hold down the home front.
So it doesn't get easier, but the mission still is focused.
For kids, sometimes more is said.
I miss him very much.
When nothing is said at all. Through the tears is love and pride for the men and women going off to protect our country and way of life.
I'll miss him when he leaves today, but he said he's coming back in April.
And until then, they'll lean on care packages, letters, and each other to make the time pass a little faster. The Carl Vinson Strike Group has a total of 6,000 sailors. They'll be deployed for the next 6 to 8 months. For now, reporting live, Amanda Brandeis, 10 News.
Thank you so much, Amanda. Take a look. This was the scene at a Washington, D.C. bookstore last night. There were dozens of people lining up to get their hands on Michael Wolff's new book, Fire and Fury. This was the midnight release. In it, he describes a tumultuous first year in the White House for the Trump administration. As ABC's Arlette Science reports, the book's release comes alongside some new claims about the Russia probe.
Already on the bestseller list, Fire and Fury is fueling questions about whether President Trump is fit to serve. On NBC's Today Show, the book's author Michael Wolff says those around the president have concerns about his mental stability.
Let me put a marker in the sand here. 100% of the people around him.
The White House has pushed back.
It's disgraceful and laughable. If he was unfit, he probably wouldn't be sitting there.
Hours before the book's release, the president sounded off, tweeting the book is full of lies, misrepresentations, and sources that don't exist. ABC News has not confirmed the claims in Fire and Fury. One of the sources for the book says some of the quotes and anecdotes are true, but were taken out of context.
No, I think there's some anecdotes that may be true, but there's also the problem I have, George, is that with this book, as with many stories, is that if it's 10% or 20% or 50% or 70% that isn't true, the reader's not left to know which is true and which is not.
And the White House is also facing new allegations the president attempted to interfere with the Russia investigation. The New York Times reports the president asked his top lawyer to stop Attorney General Jeff Sessions from recusing himself. The paper reports White House counsel Don McGahn did lobby Sessions, but was unsuccessful, and Sessions stepped aside from the probe.
The New York Times also reports days before FBI Director James Comey was fired, Sessions sent an aide to Capitol Hill to ask a congressional staffer if he had dirt on Comey. A Justice Department spokeswoman disputes that report, saying this did not happen and would not happen, plain and simple. Arlette Science, ABC News, Washington.
I'm Jared Aarons with some breaking news into the 10 News Live Center about that Russia investigation. Just minutes ago, a couple of high-ranking senators told the Justice Department that they should press charges against the British spy Christopher Steele, who wrote the Trump dossier. That was that docket of papers that had some pretty salacious accusations against Trump and his dealings with Russia. Well, Chuck Grassley, who's the chairman of the Committee on the Judiciary, and Lindsey Graham said that Steele should be charged with lying and falsifying information. And it's pretty significant because Steele, who we have a picture of him right up here, he's the guy that was hired by the Democrats to find opposition research about President Trump. So the Russia investigation, which I know a lot of Democrats have been hoping would find some information about collusion or other things, the first person or one of the first people to get recommended for charges was somebody that was helping the Democrats. Kind of an interesting twist going on right now. We'll keep digging into this and bring you some more information as it develops. Ariel?
All right, Jared, thank you. Happening today, the man accused of causing a fiery crash on the 15 that killed 2 people will be in court today. Police arrested Jeffrey Levi for DUI after the crash. Witnesses say he was driving his Mustang faster than 100 miles an hour before crashing into another car, leaving it stuck on the freeway. Another car then hit that car, which burst into flames. It killed 2 people inside and left a third with serious injuries. Levi is charged with murder, DUI, and hit and run.
Crime alert for you now. Police are trying to track down more possible victims of a convicted sexual predator. He is now accused of groping a 10-year-old boy at Belmont Park. This is Daniel Toro. He was in court yesterday. Last week, he was detained by security at Belmont Park and then arrested by police. The Megan's Law website shows Toro has prior convictions for sex crimes involving children. Now, police say Toro was at Belmont Park December 30th between 2:45 and 3:45. They say he was wearing a green and white checkered shirt over wine-colored sweater, jean shorts, and a blue cap. If you know anything about this, please call police.
Well, the big storm may be gone, but the problem's just beginning for the East Coast in the aftermath of the so-called bomb cyclone.
Harbor police springing into action after a man scaled a fence and stole an 80-foot yacht.
And we are finally seeing seasonal conditions. Temperatures will be cooling down this weekend, and I'm tracking when the rain hits next week. Now let's check traffic with Officer Jim Betancourt. Hi, Jim.
Well, we do have a couple of crashes out there around the county. The first one we're going to talk about is on the southbound side of the 163, just north of Quince. You're going to see some backup in that area. And the other one is on the northbound side of the 5, causing a bit of a backup. If you can see from our Caltrans camera here, the northbound 5, right around the 56, just as you pass over that hill there, right before you get to Manchester, that's where you're going to see that backup because we've been working on the crash there for the past few minutes. I'm Officer Jim Betancourt with your 10 News Time Saver Traffic.
Right now, the East Coast still feeling the effects of that monster storm. And check this out. A small airport about 80 miles outside of New York City in the Hudson Valley is housing the world's largest plane right now. This is the Airbus A380, and if you're an av geek like me, this is pretty cool. It was flying from Frankfurt, Germany to New York City, but it was forced to land at Stewart International Airport yesterday after JFK closed its runways. This other one here, look out, Hudson Valley. The A380 is in the house. This is from Singapore Airlines. Well, today the storm may be gone, but now the big problem is the cold. ABC's Maggie Rulli is in Central Park with the latest.
A bitter cold is gripping the East Coast, with temps that feel like negative 15 degrees or more, spreading from the Midwest to the Northeast. Even Florida scrambling to deal with wind chills below zero. Schools up and down the coast are closed, many for a second straight day, as sanitation crews salt the roads trying to stay ahead of what's become a deadly ice situation. Roads made worse by yesterday's monster storm.
Unquestionably the worst I've seen it down here.
Oh my God, I kept seeing it come closer and closer. It's like, oh no.
In Boston, a historic storm surge flooded the city, freezing everything in its path.
This happened all in a matter of 45 minutes.
This is the biggest one since I was a kid in 1978.
In New York, the Coast Guard cutter was needed to break up ice in the Hudson River. At the airports today, travelers are met with bitter cold and long lines.
We're stuck here another day.
New York's JFK reopened this morning after suspending more than 3,000 flights. In Orlando, a rare sight, a plane getting de-iced. Even the animals seem to have had enough. In South Florida, iguanas are literally falling from the trees, crippled by the cold. And in Maryland, these surfers making the best of it all, hanging tent in the middle of a blizzard.
And it is not over yet. It's supposed to be even colder tomorrow, with wind chills approaching negative 50 degrees in New England and even getting below zero in North Carolina. Maggie Rulli, ABC News, New York.
Happening now in the 10 News Live Center, all that cold and all those storms are having an impact on our air travel here at San Diego Airport. You can see a whole page of arrivals that are delayed right now. Most of these coming from the East Coast, a few from the Midwest, and some others from here in California. And departures too, because as planes are late coming in, it takes more time to turn them around and get them going back out. So if you are traveling today out of Lindbergh, you might want to double check your flights because that storm is causing problems all over the country. In the Live Center, Jared Aarons, 10 News.
Yeah, always a good idea. Thanks, Jared. A stolen yacht caused quite the stir near the Embarcadero yesterday. Harbor police say a man named Joshua Collins scaled the marina fence and climbed right onto an 80-foot yacht. They say he untied it from the dock and it started to drift, crashing into another boat. Now, that boat's owner suffered a head injury, fell into the water trying to prevent that collision. Police say they eventually got Collins to get off the stolen yacht and then arrested him. The rocket is on the launch pad and SpaceX is putting the finishing touches on a mission to launch a car into space.
And later, after a controversial event, the end of the Door of Hope along the border.
So SpaceX is preparing for a launch of a rocket and a car. CEO Elon Musk posted video and pictures yesterday of the Falcon Heavy rocket as it took its vertical position on a launch pad.
Now, the name refers to it being a heavy lift rocket. Last month, Musk said that the rocket would carry his own Tesla Roadster sports car past the planet Mars, but he seemed a little more wary yesterday. He wrote, quote, "Excitement on launch day guaranteed, one way or another." He says he's planning the launch for later in January in Florida.
Weather Rate certified San Diego's most accurate forecast. This is 10 News Pinpoint Weather, sponsored by Window World. Simply the best for less.
Does he really need to send the very expensive Tesla Roadster up there? Can't he just send a junker up there?
That would kind of turn my stomach. I'm like, oh, if something happened to that car,
no,
you're just like,
not the good car.
No.
That doesn't seem too Elon Musk to send something junky up there.
Well, yeah,
you know,
it goes big.
Hey, there you go. Something else that's going big this weekend, the weather. It's going to be really, really nice. We actually have a really nice view right now of Coronado, and it's gorgeous. We do have some rain in store, though. That's coming up on Monday, which I'll get to in just a second. But current temperatures around the area, 66 in Oceanside, 67 in Carlsbad. Looks like Ramona, you're at 73. Escondido, 71 degrees. Here's your coast day planner for you. Looks like we're at 53 degrees, or we were at 53 degrees at 7 a.m. At noon, we're at 70, and we're going to be at a high today of 71 degrees. Now, again, that storm system is going to come our way as we head on toward Monday next week. But as far as your weekend is concerned, we're in store from some really, really, really nice temperatures. Overall, we're going to see a high today out in the inland area at about 75 degrees. The mountains, you'll see a high of about 63, and out in the desert areas, it'll be at about 77 degrees. So still warm out in that area until that storm system hits on Monday. So enjoy the weekend while you can. Make the best of it as well. And of course, I'm tracking that storm system. We're going to see about a ½ inch to an inch of rain. That's what's expected this week, or excuse me, starting off on Monday. So that's something that's going to break away from the jet stream in order to make it to us. We're already seeing some showers in Northern California, but again, that should hit us on Monday. Overall, though, still looking at partly cloudy skies for some of the coast. It should be sunny the rest of the day and throughout the rest of San Diego County. Again, just brace yourself and make the best of this weekend. Have some fun while you can. Enjoy the sun. A lot of people are already out on the beach, as we saw at our Hotel Del Coronado camera as well. Virginia, Ariel.
All right, thank you. The controversial co-founder of Uber taking another step out the door.
The big payday he is set to get for reportedly selling off just a fraction of his stake in the company. And who's buying it? Well, we just keep going up and up and up. This is the 4th trading day of the year, the last one of this week, and the Dow is up triple digits, 123 to 25,199. So really just zooming past 25,000. Can we hit 26,000 soon? And NASDAQ up 45, S&P up 11. The December jobs report was strong enough to make it look like the improvements in the job market are continuing, but not strong enough where the Fed is probably going to accelerate its timeline to raise interest rates. So I think investors like that.
Yeah, some great news for them for sure. Well, new today, Uber co-founder and former CEO Travis Kalanick is reportedly eyeing a big return on his investment. Multiple reports suggest Kalanick is preparing to sell a third of his 10% stake in the company for about $1.5 billion. Kalanick resigned as CEO back in July. It came amid scandals and criticisms of the workplace culture he oversaw at Uber. According to Reuters, the sale is part of a bigger deal involving Japanese investment firm SoftBank. It's buying a significant stake in Uber.
Some new developments on some well-known stores that are closing. Sears is closing more stores this year. Now, Sears Holdings says 64 Kmarts and 39 Sears will close their doors in March and April. Liquidation sales will begin as soon as next Friday. None of the closing stores are in San Diego, but there are several in California. This latest round comes after the company already closed about 250 stores last year. You know, gas prices have been going down, but demand for electric vehicles is going up anyway. With more companies getting into the electric car business, they're becoming more affordable. Tesla and Chevy have cars that start in the $30,000 range, and while your electric bill will go up at home to charge these cars, you will see savings elsewhere in the long run.
You don't have oil changes, you don't have radiator flushes, you do have to check your brake pads, but the maintenance in the long run is also significantly reduced.
If you want to get some more info on the benefits of having an electric car and how to install a charging station, just check out angieslist.com.
The Thomas fire is on its last legs today, but now a legal battle is heating up. What some residents think may be responsible for the fire.
The first success story from the city's latest homeless shelter projects. One woman's path to permanent housing. Let's check traffic now with CHP officer Jim Betancourt. How's it looking this Friday, Jim?
You know, it was okay in our first report, but it's really starting to get busy out there around the county. We got 4 separate crashes that are working right now. The first one's going to be that northbound 5 right around Manchester that we were working on clearing earlier. Still very busy as you attend that one. The southbound side of the 805 right at the 54, South 163 at Quince, there's a crash. And then we can take a look at our Caltrans camera. Here's the northbound 5. Just north of the 15, we have a crash with a couple lanes blocked there, and you can see the backup. I'm Officer Jim Betancourt with your 10 News Time Saver Traffic.
Live from the Scripps Studios, this is 10 News.
We have a breaking news update for you. The man who died while surfing this morning has been identified as Stan Searfus, a well-known surf coach within the Coronado Unified School District.
10 News reporter Mimi Alcala joins us near Sunset Cliffs, where Stan Searfus died doing what he loved.
He was loved by many, and we got a statement from Coronado Unified School District saying today is a very sad day for Coronado, and they lost a jewel in their crown. He got in the water here around 5 o'clock this morning with a friend. Less than an hour later, the friend could no longer see him.
We saw a lot of choppers and lifeguards down here, and then they came up to us in the boat and asked us if we'd seen any body.
Ed Hawley got in the water with a group of friends as lifeguards began searching for Stan Searfus in boats and choppers just before 6.
They found us board on the beach.
It was a quiet morning, and San Diego search and rescue officials say surfing conditions were ideal.
About 2-3 feet. It's actually really good, clean surf. Not really rough conditions at all.
Searfus and a friend were surfing in the dark when the friend noticed the board washed up on shore and saw no trace of him. He ran up the rough cliffside just south of Point Loma Nazarene University to get a cell phone and call for help. A lifeguard rescue vessel spotted Searfus face down floating in the water. Once in the boat, they started CPR and took him to lifeguard headquarters in Mission Bay, but sadly he didn't make it.
There's a lot of different surfers, but we all know each other. It's a pretty tight community. It's just sad and tragic.
It's still unclear exactly how Searfus died. We're told he was in his 50s and healthy. We're going to stay on top of this investigation and keep you updated. At Sunset Cliffs, Mimi Alcala, 10 News.
New today, the door of hope on the border that allows families to give each other cross-border hugs and greet each other is closing this year. The head of the Border Angels says that decision was made by the new Border Patrol chief. They say it comes after outrage that a drug dealer was allowed to have a cross-border marriage at the door of hope back in November. The Border Patrol told the Union Tribune the man was screened through an internal vetting process and that nothing indicated criminal activity. It's not clear if the Door of Hope will ever reopen again.
A busted fire hydrant sent water shooting into the air in El Cajon this morning. Look at that. Our 10 News breaking news tracker captured this scene on 1st and Washington Street. It was around 1:30 this morning. Police say a semi-driver accidentally knocked off the hydrant while pulling into the 7-Eleven parking lot. The water shot about 40 feet into the air for more than half an hour. Water crews did get to the scene and were able to shut the water off.
So this morning, Navy families watched as more than 5,000 sailors deployed from Naval Base Coronado.
They're aboard USS Carl Vinson, heading to the Western Pacific. 10 News reporter Amanda Brandeis joins us from the base and was there as families waved goodbye.
Well, it's a bittersweet day for these families. On the one hand, they're so proud of their loved ones serving our country. But on the other hand, it's so tough knowing they won't see each other for months.
Look, she's waving, look, she's waving, she's waving, she's waving, look.
As they try to spot their loved ones from a distance.
Mommy's whole department is right there.
Family members hold each other a little closer.
You're happy that they're gonna go do something good, but then you're sad that they're leaving you.
The emotions are mixed. From parents bursting with pride for their children serving our country.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm excited for her.
To the husbands and wives getting ready to hold down the home front.
So it doesn't get easier, but the mission still is focused.
For kids, sometimes more is said.
I miss him very much.
When nothing is said at all. Through the tears is love and pride for the men and women going off to protect our country and way of life.
I'll miss him when he leaves today, but he said he's coming back in April.
And until then, they'll lean on care packages, letters, and each other to make the time pass a little faster. The Carl Vinson Strike Group has a total of about 6,000 sailors. They'll be deployed for the next 6 to 8 months. Reporting from Naval Base Coronado, Amanda Brandeis, 10 News.
Longtime Padres coach Rob Piccolo has died. Piccolo spent 20 years in the Padres organization after a 9-year career as a player with 3 teams. He reportedly died from a heart attack. He did have a previous heart issue. Piccolo, who was affectionately known as Peach, is survived by his wife Debbie and 2 sons. He was 64.
Jeopardy host Alex Trebek is taking a break from taping the show to recover from brain surgery. He posted a video message online yesterday. Watch.
Prognosis is excellent, and I expect to be back in the studio taping more Jeopardy programs very, very soon. And I want to thank all of you for your concern.
He looks great, right? Trebek says the surgery was for blood clots in his brain. That comes after a fall about 2 months ago. Though Trebek won't be there for a little while, viewers probably won't even notice because Jeopardy episodes are regularly taped months in advance.
Southern California Edison is now facing several lawsuits over the Thomas fire. At least 4 lawsuits have been filed, representing about 50 victims of the largest wildfire in California history. They claim the utility company failed to monitor equipment which may have caused the fire. The flames have destroyed more than 1,000 buildings across Ventura and Santa Barbara counties since starting a month ago. Right now, the fire is 92% contained.
And some of those same homeowners are bracing for possible flooding and mudslides. There is heavy rain in the forecast next week. Crews are now working around the clock to clear out as much debris as possible. Since there is nothing now holding a lot of that burned vegetation onto hillsides, storm drains could get clogged.
We are going to have about twice as much volume in runoff as we would have normally. So we have to prepare for that volume of runoff. Some of these hillsides, there's nothing we can do. The watersheds are too large to handle.
Ventura and Santa Barbara counties are giving out free sandbags right now. Rain is also in the forecast for San Diego County. So we asked CAL FIRE about the risk in the lilac fire burn areas, and they told us there isn't as much concern for the North County areas because that land is much flatter.
Well, for the last several weeks, we've been covering the opening of these tent shelters all across the city. The goal of the tents is to eventually get people into permanent housing. The Alpha Project, which operates the tent in Barrio Logan, has done just that now for the first time. 10 News reporter Matt Boone was there as a woman got a first look at her new home.
It's time for me to start my life.
It's a threshold Lynette Gresham has been waiting her adult life to cross.
You know, your parents make it look easy when you're younger, but it's not easy being grown.
From homelessness to being permanently housed.
I'm looking forward to my second chance of trying to do it the right way this time.
That was Gresham when we first met her last month, living inside the city's temporary tent in Barrio Logan. Today,
so we will meet you there, okay? Okay.
She's checking out 2 potential rooms.
Like it's right in the front?
The first, a 6-bedroom house in Spring Valley.
This is big.
As the first one in the house, she got to choose which room she wanted.
If I decide to take it, I would like this bedroom.
Though she needed a quick look at the closet.
Oh yeah, plenty of space. Even lit up. Oh my gosh. cut it out.
And the backyard?
It looks kind of islandy, like my own little island right there.
It'll do.
And the next door neighbors have lemons. Oh my goodness.
For some perspective, this is where Lynette said she used to live, Wells Park in El Cajon, where she says she slept outside without even a tent.
I'm sleeping on the grass with blankets.
Now, this kitchen could be hers tomorrow, but shedding the label of being homeless, that could take time.
The homeless person is not just a person that stand on the corner drinking 40s and getting high. You know, it's people that want to be normal, want to have a home, want to, you know, be accepted. It just doesn't happen all the time for us.
In Spring Valley, Matt Boone, 10 News.
Wow. So the owner of this little doggy is asking for your help. As you can see, he doesn't have front paws and needs that little cart to get around, but it's now missing. Rexy's owner, Terry Cully, and her husband are from Arizona. They were visiting San Diego back in December. They were at Balboa Park when they forgot to pack up Rexy's cart. They made it all the way back to Arizona before they even realized it. They called the park's visitor center. They tried putting out the word on Craigslist, but no luck. But they're not giving up hope.
It's a one-of-a-kind, and just hoping that maybe somebody picked it up and doesn't really realize what they have.
I know, because who else could really use that, right? Terry says Rexy can get around a little bit without the cart, but he really needs it to help him go longer distances.
A young boy is in the hospital today. A car hit him while he was skateboarding down a neighborhood street. It happened around 5:30 last night on Brooklyn Avenue. That's about a block away from Encanto Elementary. The 13-year-old was skateboarding with friends when he was hit by a pickup truck. He was rushed to the hospital with serious injuries. One neighbor was inside when she heard the sound that sent her running right into the street.
I thought it was a car that they hit. And then I saw the little boy, and it was just awful, awful, awful.
The driver did stop and cooperated with police.
New today, a suspected drunk driver slammed into a police SUV as officers were out of the car helping victims of a crime. Our 10 News breaking news tracker had the only camera on scene at K Street in Chula Vista about 2 o'clock this morning. Police say the driver then slammed into that tree after hitting the police SUV. Of course, the officers were okay because they weren't actually in the SUV. Paramedics checked out the driver, who was then arrested for DUI.
Happening today, a former Camp Pendleton Marine accused of planning an ISIS-inspired attack on San Francisco's Pier 39 will appear in court for arraignment. Yesterday, a federal grand jury indicted Everett Aaron Jamison on terror charges. He's accused on one count of attempting to provide material support to a terrorist organization and distributing information on destructive devices. The FBI says Jamison discussed plans to attack the popular tourist destination with an undercover agent.
Some new developments in this story. One of the women who accused former Alabama Senate candidate Roy Moore of sexual abuse is now suing him for defamation. Lee Korfman has filed a defamation suit against both Moore and his campaign committee. She says Moore and his campaign defamed her by calling her a liar and questioning her motives. She's asking for Moore to pay court costs, and she is demanding that both he and the campaign retract and apologize publicly for their statements. Moore has denied any sexually inappropriate behavior against anyone. He says he's never met Korfman.
Happening now in the 10 News Live Center, we heard Virginia say earlier that unemployment numbers were helping the stock markets. We thought we'd take a little bit of a deeper dive into what they really are right now. It just came out this morning that December's unemployment was 4.1%. That is the same number as October and November, so it means the economy is holding steady, and it added 148,000 jobs in the last month. That is the 87th straight month of job growth. So trending upward in that sense, and doing it for quite some time. Ariel?
It's a good trend. Thank you, Jared. Well, California's Attorney General says his office will vigorously protect the state's new recreational marijuana law despite the threat of a federal crackdown. We first told you yesterday morning that U.S. Attorney General Jeff Sessions lifted a policy preventing federal authorities from cracking down on marijuana in states where it's legal. Well, now prosecutors could choose to enforce federal marijuana laws. The sale of recreational marijuana became legal in California January 1st. San Diegans now buying pot told us they're not worried.
I believe that Sessions is stepping into a territory that he's not familiar with. 37 million people in the state of California voted for recreational marijuana. Medical marijuana and recreational marijuana are here to stay.
Those against legal marijuana say Sessions' decision will help regulate the industry.
What would you do with $1 billion? Well, of course, not after taxes, but it's still going to be a lot of money. If you're really lucky, that could happen for you. We're going to tell you the latest on the lottery fever that's sweeping the country.
Beyonce, Eminem, and The Weeknd. You can see them all in one place this April. We'll tell you how to get your tickets today.
And we are finally seeing seasonal conditions. Temperatures will be cooling down this weekend, and I'm tracking when the rain will hit next week. Now let's check traffic with Officer Jim Betancourt. Hi, Jim.
Well, still working on a couple crashes out there around the county. Southbound 805, right around the 54. Looks like we still have that crash that's blocking the left-hand lane there. South 163, right around Quince, is still a problem, so be careful as you're traveling in that area. Those earlier crashes on the 5 have cleared. However, I'm sorry to report that another crash happened north 5 at Villa de la Valle. So your best bet, if you're traveling up to the North County, is to take the 15. The 5 is just not happy today. Here's the 15 right around Miramar Way. No problems there. I'm Officer Jim Betancourt with your 10 News Time Saver Traffic.
Lottery fever just continues to sweep the nation. The Powerball and Mega Millions jackpots now close to a jaw-dropping $1 billion combined. ABC's Diane Macedo is here with all the details.
This morning, the dream of wealth is driving people to gas stations and convenience stores, hoping they have the lucky